गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनजारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्ज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा श्रील गुरुदेवा Deva. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Shri Prabhupada ki, Shri Gurudev ki, Anta Kodi Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanand. Let's start with the invocation prayers. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati ruttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistuki mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langayate kirim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru dinatarinam paramanandamadavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam session on this auspicious day of Varaha Dwadasi. Today, before starting, I seek the blessings of all great souls and so that I can speak for my own purification in this subject matter. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the Status Cure, Chapter 23, Devahuti's Lamentation, and verse number 55. saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā asatsu vihito dhiyā saeva sādhuṣu kṛto saeva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā saeva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā saeva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā Saiva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā saiva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā saiva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate. Vaishnavis. Saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā saiva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate saṅgo saṁsṛter hetur asatsu vihito dhiyā saiva sādhuṣu kṛto niḥsaṅgatvāya kalpate. Word to word. Saṅgaḥ, association. Yah, which. Saṁsṛteḥ, of the cycle of birth and death. Hetuḥ, the cause. Asatsu, with those engaged in sense gratification. Vihitaḥ, done. Adhiyā, through ignorance. Saha, the same thing. Eva, certainly. Sādhuṣu, with saintly persons. Kṛtaḥ, performed. Niḥsaṅgatvāya, to liberation. Kalpate, leads. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Kindly repeat. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Purport. The association of a saintly person in any way bears the same result. For example, Lord Kṛṣṇa met many kinds of living entities, and some treated him as an enemy, and some treated him as an agent for sense gratification. It generally said that the gopīs were attached to Kṛṣṇa for sense attractions, and yet they became first-class devotees of the Lord. Kaṁsa, Sishupala, Dandavakra, and other demons, however, were related to Kṛṣṇa as enemies, but whether they associated with Kṛṣṇa as enemies or for sense gratification, out of fear or as pure devotees, they all got liberation. That's the result of association with the Lord. Even if one does not understand who he is, the results have the same efficacy. Association with a great saintly person also results in liberation, just as whether one goes towards fire knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will make one warm. Devahuti expressed her gratefulness For although she wanted to associate with Kardama Muni only for sense gratification, because he was spiritually great, she was sure to be liberated by his benediction. Hari Om. That's all. Om Ajnananda Mirandasya Jnana Jnana Chalakaya Chachurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Shakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swamin Niti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Damataya Nagara Gramatarine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Om Tat Sat. So translation today from the third canto, the Status Quo, chapter 23. We are seeing verse number 55. So in this chapter, we saw in verse number 1 to 8, Kardama Muni is pleased with Devahuti's services. And in 9 to 11, we see that Mother Devahuti is requesting for child. And in 12 to 48, we see how both enjoyed and she gave birth to 9 daughters. And in 49 to 57, we see Devahuti's lamentation, particularly in those verses from text number 54 to 57, where Devahuti mother is pleading Kardama Muni to stay back. And she also regrets that Kardama Muni is not a normal person. And she, in the previous verse, she is regretting that she didn't utilize his association for developing knowledge about the Supreme Lord. Also, she wanted to bestow fearlessness on her. And she is lamenting now, you can see in these verses. And we see particularly in this verse, it talks about association for sense gratification will lead certainly to the path of bondage. But we see the same association when we do it with saintly people, sadhus. It leads to the path of liberation. And even though if we don't have knowledge, we see elders telling us that whenever there is an yajna performed, please go to that place, because it's a place of purification. And whenever great souls speak, you understand, you don't understand. People ask you to, great souls ask us, and elders guide us just to be there. Just to be there. Just the presence itself is purificatory. How? A dark room is there. You keep a lamp. Lamp gives light to the dark room. You like it, you don't like it. That's a characteristic. So, we see here, Srila Prabhupada is giving example of the Supreme Lord Krishna. We are all here as souls, we are in this material world. There are conditioned souls, there are liberated souls. There are so many great souls here who are already liberated. And we are so proud to be here because we are all Srila Prabhupada's army. We are all having our founder Acharya, his gaze, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are all connected in our movement to Srila Prabhupada, who is a great sadhu. He is a great Acharya who set himself by his example. And we see that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning Lord Kṛṣṇa, that we have to develop our relationship with Kṛṣṇa. We have so many relationships in this material world. But we see always there is suffering, and you have fights and whatnot. Do you get eternal happiness in the material relationships? But in spiritual relationship, we are all eternally related with our Supreme Father, Sri Kṛṣṇa. We are great-grand disciples, great-grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada. How we are related to Srila Prabhupada? Like that, we are all related to Sri Kṛṣṇa, who is our Supreme Father. Lord Brahma is the secondary creator. And we see the Vedas want us to develop the relationship with Kṛṣṇa, sambandha. We have to develop relationship with whom? Bhagavan. Bhagavan sambandha. How to do that? With bhakti. Bhakti abhidaya. With devotional service, the understanding. By performing devotional service, we'll come to understand. In material relationships, we keep serving the children. The husband serves the wife serves. In whatever ashram you are, you do service. So when you're doing service to whomsoever you serve, on the course of run, you develop a relationship. Love cannot be forced. It has to come by itself. And on course of relationship, you develop love. Bhakti abhidaya, prema prayojana. What is the goal? Prayojana, the goal is prema, love. All the scriptures help us to achieve the love of Godhead by hearing the glories of the Supreme and His devotees. We don't have any knowledge. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Dadami buddhi yogam tam, I give you knowledge. In Bhagavatam 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 7th verse, he says, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janeyato Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahaitukam. You're all reading scriptures. That's evident by you telling the sloka. Srila Prabhupada wanted everyone to read his books. Everyone to read his books. He gave up his lifetime. He hardly slept for 2 hours. He hardly rested for 2 hours. He translated for all of us. If you read the purports given by Acharyas, everything is given in the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Condensed milk. How the condensed milk? It's very tasty. Prabhupada says, boil the milk. So we see that. So knowledge, we don't have. We can see here, even performed without knowledge. You don't have knowledge. You get liberated. Srila Prabhupada is giving the pathway. Anyone can become a pure devotee of the Lord just by association. Anyone can become a pure devotee of the Lord. So we see here that Lord Kṛṣṇa, you can see people approach him. We see in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, there are people who approach him even for material wants. Even one who is in distress approaches the Lord. For everyone. People consider the Lord as formless and worship. There are different kinds of worshippers. We see that in our Bhagavad Gita study also. Everything leads to the Supreme Lord. That's why Srila Prabhupada gives the example here. That everybody gets liberated, even out of envy, out of anger, the demons. You see, Kaṁsa wanted to kill Kṛṣṇa. And he was thinking of Kṛṣṇa out of fear all the time. All the time he was thinking of Kṛṣṇa. You see, Shishupal and others, they were so envious of the Lord. So even the demons, they think of Kṛṣṇa and they get liberated. Lord is so merciful. Just by his association, they get liberated. So we see that the gopīs, in 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse number 31, we see this verse, Gopya Kāmat Bhayat Kaṁsa. So, gopīs out of lusty desires, Kaṁsa out of fear, Shishupal and others out of envy, the Yadus out of family relationship, the Pandavas out of affection, and Narada is telling, we perform devotional service and by that obtain the mercy of Sri Kṛṣṇa. So whatever way we perform, the Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter verse number 11, Ye tamam prabhatyante tam tadaiva bhajamyaham. So according to one's surrender, the Lord reciprocates accordingly. Everyone gets liberated. So many demons, if we read Kṛṣṇa book, we can see there are so many demons, Putana, Dandavakra. I can just keep on reading the pastime and see how they got liberated. And out of the devotees, we see the gopīs are the topmost. And here, even though they are attracted towards Kṛṣṇa, their desires, their lusty desires, something different. We can see Srila Prabhupada mentioning that also. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, 4th chapter, verse number 164, it's talking about gold and iron. Though both gold and iron are the same metals, both are in metal category, but the characteristics are way different. The gold's characteristic and iron's characteristic is different. So we see the gopīs' lust towards Kṛṣṇa is pure love. A lot of difference between material love. Material love is lust. Material lust is lust. But in the spiritual world, lust is love, love is love. And it is said, a tinge of that is seen in today's world in the motherly love towards the child. And Kali Yuga progresses, even that diminishes. So, what is the difference between that and this? It's explained in verse number 165 in the same chapter that Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bali Kama Krishnendriya Priti Ichha Dare Prema Nama. So, there is difference because one performs for one's own pleasure. That's kama, that's lust. But one performs for the satisfaction, for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa, then that's prema, that's pure love. That's the difference between gold and iron. The gopis, lusty desires is compared to gold, but for a materialistic person is compared to iron. Is it easy to understand the Supreme? By Bhakti Yoga, even Lord Brahma can't understand. We see Brahma Vimohana Leela, the pastimes of Brahma. Brahma just abducted the calves and the gopīs. And when he saw, the Lord expanded, he could see all 400 forms there. The Lord expanded, and the difference between Brahma's time and the solar years in our world is different. It took 1 year, the Lord expanded, and all the gopis who are mothers of the children felt so much love. They all wanted Kṛṣṇa as their child. Kṛṣṇa fulfilled that. So gopis' pleasure, their satisfaction, their sense gratification is something different, which we can't conceive. And Srimati Radharani is the topmost out of that. So by bhakti, there are so many processes mentioned. But bhakti yoga, for this yuga, is what is being mentioned by the scriptures. So we see that whatever relationship you have with Kṛṣṇa, out of fear, out of as enmity, as enviousness, out of love, and there are different rasas. In devotees reciprocate in different rasas. The 5 primary rasas are Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. The gopis are in Madhurya. And even there are bhavas. Aishwarya, worshipping with awe and reverence. If you worship with awe and reverence, you go to Vaikunthas. And there are millions of Vaikunthas explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. But if you worship Kṛṣṇa, we go into the platform of the different rasas. And in our movement, in our sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, our acharyas want us to worship in Madhurya. That's why we worship the Lord as a youth. Nava Yavvanam cha. Lord is always youthful. We see that in Brahma Samhita. He's always youthful. He never gets old. You can never see a picture of Kṛṣṇa getting old. Bhishma Pitamaha Maha in Mahabharata we see lived for hundreds of years, and you can see him how old he is. But Lord Kṛṣṇa is always youthful, and the gopis are also eternally youthful. So, by bhakti, we can understand Kṛṣṇa. That's why our acharyas want us to worship in the footsteps of them. Shanta in neutrality, Dasya in servanthood. We can see that in neutrality you can give examples of trees, flowers, as such. In Dasya, friends of Kṛṣṇa, the gopas, Chitraka, Patraka. In Sakhya, in friendship, we can see Sudama, Sridama, all friends of Kṛṣṇa. Vatsalya, Mother Yashoda and Nandababa, parents. And Prema, the gopis. So, we have to develop a relationship, and for that, we have to perform devotional service to the Lord. By doing so, we get liberated. Devotees don't aspire for liberation. We see that in the study of Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. A materialistic person aspires for material enjoyment. They do so many activities for fruitive enjoyments. We can see the jnanis and the yogis, they want to get liberation, they want to get knowledge, they want perfections. But a devotee, a pure devotee, doesn't want anything except Lord's satisfaction. That is desirelessness, Srila Prabhupada says in his purports. And you can see the example of gopīs. They had nothing in their heart except to satisfy Kṛṣṇa. They were having families. But when Kṛṣṇa calls, leave everything, they just run at the back of Kṛṣṇa. Because that is the eternal relationship. Life after life, who is there with you, even materially you are born? Kṛṣṇa is going to be there. Even after this life, you go back spiritually, you can eternally, it's the Lord. So we have to satisfy the Supreme Lord Kṛṣṇa. And the Lord is so magnanimous, and His devotees are even more magnanimous. The Lord is telling, don't instruct everybody. But we can see, they give their mercy to everyone. Mahaprabhu, he came for the fallen. But he got angry when Nityananda Prabhu got attacked by Jagayan Madai. Sudarshan Chakra came. But Nityananda Prabhu said, please, give your mercy. And then Lord gave mercy. We have Jagayan Madai Ghat here. We are in the Antardvip, where the Ghat is here. Where they repented later. By the mercy of the Lord, they became pure. So, we see the Lord is so magnanimous. There's so many pastimes of the Lord. We see the pastime of Gangadhar Bhattacharya. Shri Gangadhar Bhattacharya is the father of Srinivas Acharya, who is a great Acharya again. He witnessed the sannyas of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was engulfed with ecstasy. And he was chanting, Hey Chaitanya, Hey Chaitanya. He was always chanting Chaitanya and Gauranga. And because he was chanting Chaitanya, people started calling him Chaitanya Das. Das means servant. Servant of Chaitanya. So, in any way, just getting association of the Lord, one gets liberated. But we see in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the liberation is not in the same platform. There are different kinds of liberation. That also we see. And the devotees, the pure devotees, get the opportunity to keep serving in whatever rasa they are with the Lord in the dham, in the spiritual world. That's the difference between the demons and the devotees. They get liberated, but they are in that mentality of not doing service. And accordingly, according to whatever level they are in, they are liberated. So, we see In Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter, 26th verse, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati tyetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. By the process of devotional service, we see that one comes out of this entanglement of the three modes of the material nature and gets situated in the level of Brahman. That's the step where you can go into Vasudeva state, pure goodness. We have to go from the level of goodness to pure goodness. Sattva to Suddha Sattva. Vasudeva stage we have to go. And we see Vaishnavas are all already Brahmanas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has written a book. Vaishnavas are already Brahmanas because they are in pure goodness. They are in Suddha Sattva stage. The Lord and pure devotees, they liberate everybody. We see that. And we see in this canto itself, in the 25th chapter, verse number 20, this verse in the third line, it's saying, this verse also says the same. Prasangam majaram pasham atman kavayo viduhu saeva sādhuṣu kṛto mokshadvaram apavritam. The doors of liberation are open by associating with sadhus. Sadhus association. And learned men know that attachment to the material world is the greatest binding for the spirit soul. The third line is saeva sādhuṣu kṛto. It's the same with that verse and this verse which we read today. So we see that the Acharya Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentions about Sajjana Sangha, the association of pure devotees, where it is a boat which helps us to cross this material ocean. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see in Madhya, 22nd chapter, verse number 54, Lavamatra sadhusanga sarva siddhi hoy. Sadhusanga sarva sastra hai. Lavamatra sadhusanga sarva siddhi hoy. Just a moment's association with the sadhus, you get sarva siddhi, everything you get. Even if the pure devotee curses, and that's a benediction. We see association of Narada Muni, Prahlad Maharaj, he became, in the womb, he became a great devotee of the Lord. We see Dhruva Maharaj, guided by Narada Muni. Narada Muni is a great example. And he preaches, his preaching strategies you can see in Srimad Bhagavatam. Different preaching strategies. And we see Dhruva Maharaj. He guided Dhruva Maharaj, who again, just by association, he wanted a great kingdom. But by seeing the Lord, he was thinking, this is all glass pieces. What did I think of? So, we see in Brihat Naradiya Puran, in verse number 4.33, Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate. So association of devotees, pure devotees, gives bhakti, gives devotion. Just by association with pure devotees gives bhakti. And great souls, we see Srila Prabhupada, we have a great army here. We are fortunate to see many Srila Prabhupada disciples who changed. We can see their life being changed. Anyone can become a pure devotee. They're all living examples for us. They're all living examples for us. Because our mentality is that. What example is there? Who is there? Our inspirations. All our gurus of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. They're all great examples. We can see everyone, Matajis and Prabhujis, who were initiated by Srila Prabhupada. There are very many devotees whom we don't know names. They are very silent in their devotional practice. We have different varieties. There is variegatedness in the spiritual world. Material world, we see that. Even in devotional practice, we see that. Not everybody is explicit in their sadhana. Whatever they are doing, you can't know. Not everybody is explicit. But they are all living examples to us in performing devotional service. To go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada assures that he is the key to the back door. I keep saying this whenever I give a Bhagavatam lecture. You can't go to the front door, don't worry. And how to do that? We are all not direct disciples of Prabhupada. We are great-grand disciples, grand disciples of Prabhupada. So what? Follow your guru. Because we are all in parampara system, that's a link. We are all connected to Srila Prabhupada, who is our founder Acharya, who is our Param Guru. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also insists that we get bhakti, we can cross this material ocean. We sing in our songs of Guru Vandana in the morning prayers from Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Jahara prashade bhai e bhava toriya jai Kṛṣṇa prapti hoy jahan hoy te. Through Guru helps us to give Kṛṣṇa bhakti. He helps us to cross this material ocean, the samsara. He helps us. So we are all connected. We have to just follow the instructions. Very simple. Srila Prabhupada has given our daily life routine, starting from morning, Mangala Arti to the Sandhya Arti in the night. Our sadhana process is very clearly given. Just follow, that's it. By following, he will take us back home, back to Godhead, via our spiritual masters. So, we see here, they are the doors for liberation. They help us from this suffering of this materialistic world, to cross this materialistic ocean. We see the example of the prostitute Hirabai being transferred to a devotee by the association of Namacharya Haridas Thakur. We see that in Chaitanya Charitamrita Andhya, 3rd chapter, from verse number 99 to 144, the pastimes, where Namacharya Haridas Thakur was telling to her to wait. Let me finish my rounds. And more than 20 hours he used to chant. Remaining time he spent for daily course again chanting. And she became devotee of the Lord. Just by association, moments association. Narada curses the sons of Kuvera, Nala Kuvera, who became the Tamalarjuna trees in the courtyard of Sri Kṛṣṇa. They could witness the pastimes, the childhood pastimes of Lord Kṛṣṇa. It's a curse by a devotee. Still it becomes a benediction. So just association, even moments association with devotees, gives bhakti. And bhaktas aspire only to satisfy the Supreme. Only to satisfy the Lord. So let's follow the footsteps and immerse ourselves in the ocean of performing devotional service. As sharks, which are deep in the ocean, given in the analogy again given by Srila Prabhupada in Nectar of Devotion. Let's all go deep in devotion and enjoy the pastimes of the Supreme and come out of this material bondage. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Mother. Yeah.
Can you give an example of somebody's sentiment that are becoming sadhya and some devotee who's really authentic feeling of emotion towards Krishna?
Srila Prabhupada bans the Sahajya mentality because we can see Srila Prabhupada himself didn't express his ecstatic love all the time. In his lifetime, we can see so many examples from his life. In UK, Srila Prabhupada witnessed Brahma and Narada coming. He said, put asana for them in the temple. He told that. People were wondering. He could see. He's a great soul. He can see. He doesn't exhibit. Who are you, Srila Prabhupada? He said, come. And to his disciples, it's constant answer. Come, you will know. You come to the spiritual world and know who I am. That's what Srila Prabhupada mentioned. And exhibiting sentiments outside. Crying. We have different ecstasies mentioned in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Both spiritual and materialistic. You can't, rolling on the ground. You can't show off. Can't show off. Mahaprabhu himself didn't exhibit that he is the Supreme. Because he didn't want people. And even now you can see, I am Kalki. There is already Kalki. Kalki avatar has to come. Huh? We see they are bogus. They are Sahajiyas. They are just showing at the outset. And can they lift the Govardhan hill? Okay, leave all that. Pour a hot bucket of water. Can they tolerate? The Lord can. The Lord is supreme always. Can they? So that is all sentimentalism outset. It's been condemned by our acharyas. To just live. We can see in the Nectar of Instruction study, even in Nectar of Devotion study, Srila Prabhupada condemns about Siddha Pranali and also living in Radhakun. Are you like Raghunath Das Goswami Baba? Are you in that level of bhava to live there? In the banks of Radhakun? He paid 200 obeisances every day. He paid 200 obeisances. Can we do that in his age? He was drinking just a cup of buttermilk. Can we do that? Just by seeing a Vaishnava, a sannyasi, you have to do obeisance. How many of us do that? Can we do that? Are we in that level? So that's the difference. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Others? Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
We have a great opportunity here in Mayapur because when they do the offering of obeisances after Mangalarti Vanchakalpa, you can get about 2,000 devotees all at once. Like Raghunath Das. I don't know if that's how he did it.
Every day, offering obeisances takes off our offenses knowingly, unknowingly. Yes. We also chant the 10 offenses. It takes care of the offenses. Thanks for that comment, Prabhu. And
you had mentioned that the acharyas want us to worship in Madhurya Lila. And then on the other hand, you hear sometimes that you hear also that every devotee has an eternal relationship already there, fixed in the heart, one of the 5 relationships. So could you clarify that?
Yes. The acharyas want us to go back home to Goloka. That's why they want us to worship in Madhurya Rasa, in Madhurya Bhav, not in Aishwarya. In Aishwarya Bhav, you go into the Vaikuntha planets. So they're guiding us, because there is a difference between the Supreme Court judge in the court and at home. At home, the grandson climbs at the back and he becomes the elephant and horse for the grandson. But in the court, he's a judge. So like that, Krishna, we can see. The Gopas and the Gopis, when the Lord came as Rama, they wanted to hug him, they wanted to kiss him, and all that couldn't happen. That's why you can see in Krishna Leela, they all came as Gopis and Gopas. You can see that. So the bhava, the mood is different. So our acharyas want our mood to be in Madhurya Bhava, not in Aishwarya Bhava, with awe and reverence. And the relationship, it's a higher study. It will be revealed by our spiritual master. As we see, we don't have knowledge. Knowledge is given by the spiritual master. We have life examples of the acharyas, of their eternal pastimes. When it was revealed, the spiritual master, they went and told their spiritual master. Like we see, Sri Narottam Das Thakur, his eternal service is to serve Champaka Lata Gopi. Champaka Lata Gopi's service is boiling the milk and doing milk preparations. When it was revealed, he went to his guru and his guru said, yes, you can meditate on it. It will be revealed and the guru will accept it. That happens when you keep performing devotion constantly. Our constitutional position will be revealed on the run. Even if it is not revealed, there's no need to worry. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, I'm the key to the back door. Even we are not pure enough, like them, they're all manjaris. They're all great. They're already liberated. Even in that case, Srila Prabhupada will take care. Yes, Prabhu. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Thank you, dear Mata, for that class. I wanted to speak about what just Prabhu asked. A god sister of mine from Hawaii, her name was Nandalal Dasi. She wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada saying, Srila Prabhupada, this so-and-so is saying that the whole Sankirtan book distribution, going on Sankirtan, this is Madhurya Rasa. And she was not just asking innocently. And Prabhupada wrote back to her, very famously, yes, he has spoken correctly. So the Sankirtan performance, whether it's book distribution or Harinam, is qualitatively Madhurya Rasa, Srila Prabhupada said. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that, Prabhu.
We may not be feeling that, but that is the actual mood of Sankirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, a little further clarification. In the bhava of Madhurya or the Aishwarya bhava, you can use the Madhurya Rasa as often also indicating the relationship between Krishna and the gopis. That. Or you can say all the relationships of the devotees in Vrindavan, there's an intimacy that you won't find in the Aishwarya.
Yes.
So in your saying, the way you were presenting it, I was taking it the second way, that it's they want the devotee, all the acharyas want the devotees to develop that intimacy, but not necessarily that everybody's going to become a gopi.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. So with that, we end today's session. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam Grandraj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Antakodi Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitya Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Vancha Kalpatar Vyasha Kripa Sindhu Bevicha Pattanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo